I'm currently based in Brooklyn, New York. I am a multimodal artist working across media, whether it be sculpture, painting, photography, video, music, writing, software, conceptual projects, fabric, whatever is needed to get the ideas out into the world. I've been working on a series of hand-silvered mirrors and reflecting on the relationship of mirror making and early photography, how we envision ourselves in a social media landscape. I think learning the way that mirrors were made, mirrors of the past used silver nitrate amongst other things. And I was also thinking about the experience of looking at a meme or some viral content and there being a comment. People will see something and say, same. So that made me start to think about ways that you could explore this kind of sentiment through objects, the emotional or like social ramifications of different aspects of network technology, but taking it outside of the digital and putting it into like another kind of physical form so that one can like reflect on those things without also like being within the space that is producing that sentiment. The way I was doing it, it didn't always manifest in a thing which is a mirror. In working here in a more like concentrated way on it and also working with my intern Ramia, we recently discovered some really interesting things just about the sensitivity of the materials. For a while we had a process where scrub them really, really intensely, and then basically run across the length of the shop, pour the chemicals on it, and it would produce a mirror, but it would have like a very interesting kind of like chance patina to it. Like there might be like swirls or like kind of things that look like smudges or like smoky aspects. I had the ideas like, oh, what if we just pour the chemicals on, like even closer to the time when the glass is clean. The difference was huge. So it's interesting to think about how just like tiny microparticles in the air, change the way these like chemicals interact. There's just stuff in the air that you can't see and it makes an impact. I also have been working on a kind of multimedia album project called In Other Words. I'm working across a variety of different genres: post-punk, twee, folk, reggaeton, trap, drill. Alongside it, I also have been working with William Jose Leon. He is a programmer and educator, and we're making an AR program. So it's like an AR experience that like expands the record. So you can be in a physical space or inside your home, and there are 3D objects and photographs and videos which I've shot so that you can turn off and turn on different components of the song in physical space just by like interacting with things on your mobile device. And working with new equipment here, I've been going to MCC a lot, and I've started I was using the UV printing machines, using vinyl cutting, plotters, using the laser cutters, and also doing manual milling. It's a fun process also because I'm using these tools which are for making very specific and very precise, parts or tools, but I'm using it to make sculptures. It's a really interesting, mental exercise, like thinking about, oh, what does it mean to use a thing to produce a toy versus a tool versus an artwork versus but you could hypothetically use the same machinery to do all of these things. I'm driven by the ideas, and a lot of times the ideas need a material, and then I become very interested in the ways that the materials function, and learning about the different things that certain mediums can do especially well is something that I'm very fascinated by. So because of that, I'm like, okay, yeah, I can like bounce between this and this. I'm really fascinated learning about how this works or how this works. But I tend to have, kind of leitmotifs that travel through the work, whether I'm working digitally or whether I'm working in physical space.